It's the Sleepers Podcast, Tuesday, August 26th. Welcome to the show. It is a very special edition of this show, the debut of Tanner McGrath, Action Network's own. For people who don't know Tanner, he has been one of our new members of the team that joined us up at the beginning of August, and you're going to see him mixed in on all things on the channel. The transfer series is ongoing right now. His first shot at the big leagues of the Sleepers Pod today, and then plenty more coming in the future. Tanner, it's great to have you here, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. Excited to be joining this esteemed media group and YouTube channel. Little background about me. I grew up in Vermont. I'm a big Vermont Catamount fan and a mid-major advocate stan. I went to McGill University. I met my wife there. I currently live in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I work as a college sports general editor for the Action Network, which is where I met Greg originally. And now I'm here.
Yeah, I've been, I don't know how much our Sleepers audience actually even knows this, because I feel like I've done a really poor job of getting fully ingrained at Action. We were even texting I need to get on the app more and actually log some plays. But anyways, I've been doing Action Network for 2 to 3 years now. Yep. And yeah, Tanner, the whole time I've been at Action, Tanner's just been psychopathically obsessed with college sports as much as I have been. So I kind of had him on the list of people at some point, if we expand or need more help, that I would always love to work with. And at some point, I forget who messaged who about it, but it just felt like a good fit to try this out. So
I messaged you, and then when you came back, I jumped at the opportunity.
Yeah,
like a snapping turtle.
We've been flirting for years. That's what's been going on, and now here we are. By the way, I think so. I finally actually logged plays in the Action Network app for the first time in 2 years. And I went 15 for 15 on football bets on Saturday.
No way, really?
Yeah, I
had a pretty good day too. I went 6-3, but 15. That's, dude.
It was.
I gotta follow you. I gotta tail all your shit.
It was ludicrous, dude. I literally got I mean, you know how it goes. College football people like us, you get that momentum back and the love of the game. You're watching that sloppy Iowa State Kansas State game, and then I was watching the UNLV game. Alex Orji is still awful.
Oh, horrendous.
He's terrible. And dude, the quarter by quarter lines in that game were UNLV minus 14.5 every single quarter. And they're terrible. I just kept hammering the other side and kept winning every single quarter bet. So
and Idaho State's not bad.
No, I was impressed.
They're a good FCS program.
It was fun. That was a fun game to watch. The college football planners, though, can we please get better spaced out games on day one of week 0? I hated that we had 3 games at the same time in the night slate.
Yeah, they should have had the Hawaii game later.
Yeah.
The Hawaii game should have kicked off at midnight, and they should have sprinkled more in that 4 p.m. slot.
Yeah, even the UNLV game, it wasn't televised in Michigan here. I had the Mountain West app up, but it's not fun. I was walking around at dinner, staring at my phone the whole time. My wife's like, "Really? You're watching Idaho State right now?"
Yeah. I wish they pushed the Western Kentucky game up, because I'm a big Maverick MacGyver guy.
Hey.
He's the new Bailey Zappi. He's going to be awesome this year.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we have college football talk later in the episode. One of our segments will be looking forward, little hot take segment for you. So we'll get into it. But first, we will take the YouTube comment of the day. And normally this is Carter's job, so I got to jump right in right now myself and find one. Let's see. Anything, bro? A lot of Purdue hate in the comments right now.
Good.
Yeah, you want some
Nice.
Purdue hate? Let's jump right on that. Actually, Nomad Boiler says, you have done a lot of positive coverage of Purdue. Your coverage there is why I watch even your daily shows, even when it doesn't have to do with Purdue. When I get into a better financial situation, I'll likely join the Discord sometime in the future. Okay, I just framed that as Purdue hate, and instead it was a really awesome Purdue love comment. So shout out to you, Nomad Boiler. No rush, but would love to see you in the Discord whenever you can. Now I'm curious though, Tanner, why did you get excited at Purdue hate?
I'm always anti-Purdue. I'm one of the Purdue haters. I think Matt Painter gets too much love. I don't think he's that great of a coach.
Whoa!
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Okay, wait.
Look, I don't know. Purdue will be good this year. they'll probably be. I mean, obviously they'll be good. They have so much returning production. They have Braden Smith,
Can
but
I get the
I feel like
elevator
the
pitch?
defense is always overvalued.
Their defense was straight up bad
It
last year.
was it was horrific last year. I don't think it's going to be like anywhere near elite this year. They're going to be
Yeah.
so good offensively. That's the thing. But
Yeah.
even with Edie, like I never like Edie saved their defense a lot because he was so big. But you could really exploit Purdue during those like national championship runs because you could just move him around. And I never thought Painter really did well to scheme like hide him on defense. It's hard to hide him because he's 7'6". But yeah,
Yeah.
never liked him as a defensive coach. Good offensive guy, but
I think that's very fair analysis. I mean, I do worry with this Purdue team. Like, are they gonna be the archetype I always fall for? I have like the toxic X archetype where I fall for the same bad girl every year, and it's
Mhm.
always the number one offense and like number 50 defense. And every year I convince myself this is the year that team will win the title, and they never do. It just never
Yeah.
happens. So yeah, I think the hope's got to be they jump up to like top 25 ish to have a real chance at this. But you're right. You look at the ads they made. That's the question mark. They didn't really add the defensive stopper. There's no Lance Jones this year. So I don't know. We'll see. That's a fair take, though. You're coming in hot because I don't even know if we've briefed you on this, but like Purdue audience is definitely the most fiery audience we have.
Oh, I know, I know.
Yeah.
I get a lot of hate from Purdue fans.
Yeah.
They didn't bring in much in the portal, right? They brought in Clough and some North Florida guy.
Liam Murphy, just a
Yeah,
shooter. And then I got like, it's not a portal ad, but you would count like Omer Meyer as a big time addition. But
sure,
even
sure.
he, it's like you don't really know what he's going to be defensively on the perimeter. So.
Yeah.
Painter says they want to be the number one offense in the country this year, which I think is in the cards. But I don't know if you're winning a national title if the defense still doesn't take a lead. He needs to do the beeline thing because that was my team years ago, and it felt like they took a serious step when he hired like a defensive coordinator.
Sure,
And
sure.
then it was Yaklich who just like completely redesigned everything. And then they had like the Franz year was awesome, but even before the Franz year, a couple of years of like Isaiah Livers led defenses and Xavier Simpson. So, anyways,
One of my favorite college basketball players of all time, Isaiah Livers.
really,
Oh, I loved him. I loved watching him. Yeah, he's right up there with Ben Shungu and and TJ Sorrentine, my two
now I'm mad
favorite
we didn't do
catamounts
that
of all
top. I
time.
want Tanner's top 10 favorite college basketball players
Oh,
of the last
I'll
10
get
years.
deep. I'll get real sicko.
We'll save that for
Um,
next week, and that'll be fun.
I have a YouTube comment I want to share. I did
Oh,
first
oh,
video that I did for this channel was Texas Tech Red Raiders transfer portal class came in at
yeah.
number 20. I was number 13. The reason why was because I gave Luke Bamgaboy from VCU a 5-star transfer portal rating because I love him and I think he's going to start next to top and I think he's going to take a huge step, especially offensively, and he already has elite defense. And Davis Dugan said, as a Texas Tech fan, Luke Bam is starting, according to all of our insiders, along Toppin. Love the insight here. So that's a huge step for me.
That is a big step. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Look at you with a YouTube comment. Tanner McGrath, ladies and gentlemen. Give it a round of applause. All right. Join the Discord. Reminder, be like Nomad Boiler, who says at some point he'll join the Discord. We would love to see you in there. We got a great group of college sports fanatics in there interacting with Carter and myself daily. We still got to get all the new guys in there. I know how to do that. I just have not set it up yet. So I'll work on that this week. But fantasy football season right now, there's a bunch of drafts going on. So if you like to play games like that, want to interact with Daily Sleepers Universe listeners, this is the place to do it. It's $9.99 a month. There's a link in our Twitter bio if you are looking for that. And all the money goes directly towards the people that you see on camera. We can start to get cool people like Tanner McGrath involved when more people join the Discord. We start today with a comment from I Maynor who says, Nico, I'm a leave ya ass, has recently said he went back home because of his Samoan culture. On a scale of 1 to 10, where does this rank on your BS meter? Nico Iamaleava leaving for UCLA.
6.5. Um, it's the money, right?
It's got to be the money.
It's the
Yeah,
money.
probably an 8 for me. But I don't know. Anytime someone throws culture around, you don't want to like just straight out call it a lie. But yeah, I sniff a little BS there for sure.
I mean, the coaching situation isn't better at UCLA.
No, not
It's
at
not.
all.
I didn't like the Tennessee offense last year, but I'd rather be in a Heupel offense,
Yeah.
like because he usually elevates quarterbacks, and he would have had year two in the system. Yeah, it seems like the money.
Yeah, got to be the money. War Chant says here are the four retired Jersey guys other than Rose, Derrick Rose, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Sloan, and Love. Here are the next best Bulls ever: Rose, Gilmore, Walker, Van Leer, and Theus. I don't know who any of these people are. I know you all don't enjoy talking about players from that era of basketball. Having seen these players play, Rose belongs with the second group of players. Had Rose not gotten hurt, he probably would belong more than the other four retired players. Seeing a list put out of the best 25 Bulls ever, my biggest takeaway is other than Jordan and Pippen, the Bulls have stunk. Not many great players. Any
Yeah,
thoughts
and
on all
they've been terrible since Jordan left.
of
It's
them?
it's Reinsdorf still owns it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's a terrible owner and just doesn't invest in the team, and the team consistently goes 500 every year and gets like the 8 seed or something, and they're stuck in that purgatory.
It's not
Bill
great.
Simmons actually had a great take about that, and I'm not the biggest Bill Simmons fan. I listen to a lot of his stuff. I'm not like a obsessive guy, but he was talking all about how if a new ownership group got in there and actually invested in the team, they could really revive the Chicago fan base and probably be a good team. But right now, they're just stuck in purgatory.
It would be a fun segment, like the franchises that need an ownership change the most.
Hmm.
Like for years, that was the Detroit Lions, and then when the owner passed away and it went down a generation, all of a sudden competent things started happening. It's kind of crazy. People don't take that into consideration, but I can see it with the Bulls. My only analysis here is it's not good that War Chant shared what roughly eight different Bulls players, and I only know two of them.
Yeah, same.
That's
I
not
also
great.
don't watch that much NBA anymore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard. The regular season for NBA is just hard to get into for
Yeah,
me.
it's a grind.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
gotta
I
love
don't know.
it.
And as I get older, I've found myself focusing on less and less sports. So now I'm just more into like college football and college basketball. I even
Yeah,
watch like since I got married, I even watch less NFL than I used to.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I hear you. And I feel like that's natural too with like just college sports obsessed
mhm.
people. It's easier to draw the line and be like, for whatever reason, I can pour my entire self into basketball and football in college. But I don't know, too many sports. It's a good
It
thing.
takes your entire self when there's a 365 basketball teams and 136 football teams now. It takes your entire mental workload to
It's
follow those
extremely
leagues.
true. Extremely true. That's why I was streaming Idaho State at dinner with my wife on Saturday. Monovich says Bleacher Report voted Tim Tebow the greatest college football player since 2000. Is there any other player you'd put above him, and why is it Reggie Bush?
Who was the original football player?
Tim Tebow.
Um, no, Reggie Bush and Tim Tebow. That seems right. Who else? Vince Young.
You could put Vince Young up there.
Um, I mean Joe Burrow, but he was only a year.
It's hard with all the Bama teams because when I think like all of college football since 2000, like the story has been how great Alabama was, but they were so loaded, it's hard to pick out an individual player with any of
Yeah,
those
it's
teams.
like I mean Tua was a starting quarterback for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Um, Devonta Smith had that Heisman year. No,
Honestly,
they're usually they have so much depth.
his NFL career has probably helped his legacy in this regard, but I think you could argue Jalen Hurts, given that he was like a face of Bama and then took Oklahoma to a playoff shortly after and has now backed it up with Super Bowls. But no, Tim Tebow is the right answer. If you're just looking for
Yeah,
like
no,
who's the greatest, it's got to be Tebow. Got to
yeah,
be.
100%.
Just Snacky says, had a friend who had dinner with Whitman. He said that Ty Rogers' injury is very serious, potentially career ending. Really sad stuff if true. Yeah, Josh Whitman is Illinois athletic director. Ty Rogers out for the season, we presume. I'm not surprised that it's serious. The smoke around the nature of this injury has been that it could alter his entire career. So sad stuff for sure. Not much else to add commentary wise there. War Chant says some changes in the Illini media circles this offseason. Lon Tay recently stepped away from his radio show. Lon brought an entertaining sports talk show that you would hear in big market cities. Thank you, Lon. Thank you, Lon. Any words for Lon, Tay, Tanner?
No, no words. Never listened to him, but
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Lon.
Yeah.
Hashtag thank you, Lon. IL Lunatic says, since he just arrived in Champaign today, can you give me a way too early Big Ten comparison from Mihailo Petrovic? Ooh, okay. Let's put ourselves on the spot here. Petrovic is very good. I saw the armchair Illini people compared him to Monty Morris, which is not Big Ten related, and I don't really see because I thought Monte Morris was a pretty high level defender in college, and I don't think Petro's going to be that. You got to be looking at like a pretty elite assist rate guy that's low turnover, like great assist to turnover ratio is I think the whole story there, but with a streaky jumper and maybe questionable scoring for himself at times. I don't really have a great one off the top of my head just from the Big Ten. Any names coming to mind for you from Mihailo Petrovic, Tanner?
You said big guy, high assist, low turnover, streaky jumper.
Point guard, like
Yep.
six. His size is like 6'2" and pretty skinny, but yeah,
How good
he's
of a passer is he?
pretty high level. Pretty high level.
Marquise Noel?
Don't hate that. Don't
I mean,
hate
high
that.
major wise, like I mean, Marquise Noel at his peak was one of the best college passers I've ever seen.
Yeah, he was so fun that year where he was just throwing no looks the entire time.
Yeah.
Um, from what I've seen with Petro, he's very like high floor. I don't want to say low ceilings. He was one of the best players in whatever that league is called that he was playing in with Super Bet, but
Mhm.
um, I don't know. I'm having a
He's
hard time.
already 22.
What's that?
He's already 22,
Yeah, he's
which is pretty
old.
crazy.
He's I mean he was like an MVP candidate in whatever that league is this year. So I look the whole sell with him is like Kasparis was so wild swings and Petrovic should be steady. That's what they're hoping for out of him. But I'm struggling with like maybe God, people are gonna hate this. What about Elijah Hawkins,
Sure.
who ended up at Texas Tech, like driving a really good team
Yeah.
this year? Like I think if you get an Elijah Hawkins-esque year, that would be a good year for Petro. But
Are they going to shoot the ball better this year?
they think so, but a lot of the ads they made are not guaranteed to do so. Like Andres Stojakovic has been a low 30s guy his whole career thus
Yeah.
far.
And
Um,
Boswell.
Petro is streaky too. He's not a knockdown guy by any means. Boswell just can't shoot it any worse than he did
Yeah.
last year. So maybe some
Upside here,
natural
maybe.
regression. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Smiley says, "Do you think Caleb Foster has a chance to have a year like his freshman year production-wise? I know he did not average much, but there was hope for him before the injury. That one game everybody remembers is Michigan State, and not saying that's needed every night, but should there be any optimism as a Duke fan for Foster this year?" By the way, welcome Smiley. I think he's new to the Discord. Thank you for joining, Smiley. Any hype for Caleb Foster in a breakout year for you, Tanner?
I think he'll be the same.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Your thoughts?
The role opportunities there. It's hard though because last year I feel like they wanted him to be ready and he just wasn't. And I'm pretty skeptical of guys that kind of get an opportunity and then just don't run through the door and take it. So I think this Duke team has been built with Caleb Foster at the heart of it in the backcourt. But there are pretty easy pivots if it doesn't work. Like you just run more through the Boozer twins, who are both
Yeah.
point guards in their own right. So yeah, Smiley, I don't want to kill your optimism. I think it's fair that you have it, but I don't think I share it with you. Mutant Matt says, "What sports are you willing to coach while your children are on the team? I hope I never get asked. Would love to just be that annoying dad who yells at Coach Cart from the bleachers because his kid's hooping while my son's riding the pine." Carter will never coach his team. I want that on record. But what sports would you coach your child in?
I'd love to coach basketball, considering how much I read about the schemes and stuff. I've been playing intramural recreational slow pitch softball this summer.
Hey,
It's my favorite sport I've ever played. We're in the championship this week. Our team's in the
let's
ship this week.
go.
Yeah, we have the highest run differential in the league. I hit lead off and play short. So if
Let's go.
my kid wants to play t-ball, I will be there on the sideline coaching him up, telling him it's all about the wrists in the swing. You got to release the wrists at the end. So
What's
yeah,
the Tanner
our
McGrath
team's the
baseball?
after school program. We're playing the basic pitches on Thursday in Halifax, Nova Scotia at 7:15 Atlantic Standard Time. I would set the line at like -4 runs up.
I
I think we're
love
gonna be pretty
this.
good.
I wish this was a bettable market, I swear. Okay, two follow-up questions. Number one, how can we live stream this? If we want to tune into Tanner McGrath's
Ooh.
championship, can we find a way?
I look, the technology, we have the technology. I just have to figure out how to use it.
All right, I'll make
I'll put
some
my phone up. I'll make like an Instagram account or something.
I'll make some phone calls.
Yeah,
We can
for
get you the
sure.
sleepers login and we'll tap
We need a play-by-play guy and we need a color commentator. And we
I
need
have
someone on
one of
this.
those.
Yeah, we need someone on on the sidelines.
I
Yeah.
have one of those. So we got a guy named Guy. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but sleepers have a guy named Guy, literally, who he was a high school student 2 years ago. He reached out to us via email and basically just poured his heart and soul into an email. It was like, I'm a huge Sleepers fan, huge college sports fan. I'd love to do anything to help you guys. By the way, I do play by play at my high school football games.
Well, then he'll fit right in
Yeah,
with
he
our
was
softball
phenomenal.
team.
Well, so we brought him in. He's helped us the last 2 years with a bunch of random crap. I love the kid to death, and he just went to Syracuse for sports journalism. He's
Oh,
a new
nice.
college student,
And
so
that's like the best, one of the best journalism schools in the nation. Yeah.
it's huge.
He should
Yeah,
do really well.
he's an awesome kid. He has a very bright future in sports media for sure. Honestly, I might connect you offline with him anyway for other reasons, but
Sure.
I digress. We could literally call him this week and be like, "We need you to do play-by-play for Tanner's
Get
softball
on a plane.
championship."
If you don't have a passport like the Kansas State football team, get one. Yeah.
I wonder how hard it is or how long it is from Syracuse to Nova Scotia. Backup question for me. What's your baseball player comparison?
Oh, um, Bo Bichette without the power. I'm a
Wow.
contact speed shortstop.
Love that.
Maybe even like a young Alex Cora.
Love that.
Yeah,
Young
something like
Alex
that.
Cora. I love
hmm
that. All right.
I'd play
Uh,
decent defense. Not the strongest arm, but I can get it to first.
Hey, that was me at shortstop my entire high school baseball career, so I resonate with this. To mute Matt's question, what would I coach? I would coach my kid in anything but soccer. I have
Mhm.
no soccer tactics whatsoever. I could not pretend to do it. But yeah, baseball, t-ball, basketball. I probably will end up coaching my kids in that. I used to coach high school basketball for like 5 or 6 years, but it's been 3 or 4 years off since the sleeper stuff really took off as a full-time thing. It's been too hard to try and balance both, but I miss it all the time. Okay, couple more. I think we have three more questions here. Fam says, "Who's the player with the most swag that you've seen come through your favorite program?" For me, it's Jaron Jackson Jr. For me, it is undoubtedly Jordan Poole, aka Swaggy
Oh yeah.
Poole.
Oof.
What? First off, tell the people what is your favorite program and who's the most swag player you've had.
Diehard Vermont Catamount fan, have been my entire life, and it's probably I think it's Ben Shungu because I
Mhm.
am the biggest Ben Shungu fan of all time because he went to South Burlington High School, then walked on the Vermont team, and then was the starting point guard, starting shooting guard by his fifth year and one of the best players in um, Catamount history. So he literally played 9 straight years of basketball in Burlington, and they almost beat Arkansas in his senior year. They should have beaten Arkansas that year. They were the better team. But also really liked Dylan Penn out of Bellarmine a couple years ago, and he
Yeah.
had a huge few games when the Vermont team played in that TBT, the basketball tournament. He looked really good, especially his shooting stroke. But he was a super swaggy left-handed guy, couldn't shoot from the perimeter, but he had like all these weird mid post, low post moves that were just so fun to watch. He could score 20 just on like little baby hook shots by driving in the lane all day. He was great.
Yeah. No, I feel like lefties also for whatever reason just inherently come across as so much swaggier than
Mhm.
right-handed people. But good shouts there. All right, thank you, fam. Sleeve Nash says, "Hey Greg, introduce me to this new guy." And then he says, "Hey new guy, I got a basketball related question for you because supposedly you know ball. With Mihailo Petrovic now on campus, what does this unlock in the Illinois offense?" Let me give you some context here. Sleeve considers himself like the bad boy of the Sleepers Discord community. He when there's a new member, he just immediately reaches out and says, "Hey, Sleeve, I'm Sleeve. Anything you need, I'm your guy." But then pretty much all he does is antagonize us and others the entire time. So this is like a rite of passage. You're officially a member of the team when Sleeve antagonizes you. So do you have any thoughts on what Mihailo Petrovic unlocks for the Illinois offense?
Well, we just talked about him as a high level passer, right? With a low turnover rate.
Yep.
So they can run like they ran with Kasparis and Tomislav last year. They can just run those pick and roll and pick and pops, the machine that they ran all last year, the ball screen machine. Maybe he'll do the same thing.
Yeah, just less passes into the third row, I think would be
Yeah.
the hope.
Yeah.
But
And then hopefully the rest of the team actually hits shots.
yeah, that's the goal. There you have
Yeah.
it, Sleeve. Hopefully that meets your standards, Sleeve Nash. Final comment of the day is T. Steffi, who says, "Hey guys, if you had to create a lineup using players from universities in that state, which state would have the best team?" Ooh,
North Carolina?
that was where my head went early
Yeah, it's
too.
gotta be.
Just although here's the pivot: are we taking anyone that's not on Duke, or is it just Duke?
No, there's gotta be a UNC guy in there, like Luke May or something.
Like, oh, is this all time? I was kind of viewing this as just this year.
Oh, is that the question?
I don't think
Reread
it
the question.
says. If you had to create a lineup using players from universities in the state, which state would have the best team? Maybe it is all time.
I can't tell. If it's all time, it's North Carolina, I think. If it's this
Definitely
if it's
Carolina.
this year, that's a much trickier question.
Let's answer it this year because I agree. It's no brainer Carolina elsewhere.
What about Texas?
Talk me through it.
Well, Houston.
Yep.
Texas Tech should be okay.
JT
Texas
Toppin.
A&M if Bucky Ball takes off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of depth there. TCU might be okay.
Yeah, you'd end up with like JT Toppin, the Houston guards,
Hmm.
pick whoever you want from the Bucky ball. I'd probably take Mbako and your guard, your boy that you love.
Yeah, yeah, Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good challenger to
That's a good
taking
answer.
North Carolina and all Duke.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I'm trying. The only other one you could do like Auburn and Alabama combined,
That's another one.
but I don't love their rosters this year. And I do, if it was just for this year, I think the Carolina team would just be Duke players. So
Well,
they're
you
gettable.
could take Kentucky and do UK and Louisville together.
That's the answer.
Yeah, that's a really good team.
Because then
Because Louisville's going to be sick.
you get the Louisville backcourt plus Oway and
Mm,
Quaintance. That's there. That's the answer. I'm glad we stumbled our way forward into that answer.
yeah.
All right, thank you, comment section. Great job with the Discord. We just indoctrinated Tanner into sleepers lore very quickly. Okay, we are brought to you by nobody right now, but I still believe we have a sponsor to unveil in the next week. Finalizing some paperwork on our end, but for now, no sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for more. Let's get to the show. Topic one today is college football related. Week one is here, and we want to do some looking forward, bold prediction, college football hot takes here. There's no rules to this segment. You can fire off as many hot takes as you want for me, but let's go one by one, and maybe we can alternate on our takes for this year. You can go first. What's your first college football hot take?
Mine is Clemson misses the college football playoff. That's my
Woo!
hot
Good
take.
pitch.
Everyone loves this team. Everyone is so hyped by the returning production specifically. I think they have 18 returning starters in total. They lead the nation in returning production. Cade Klubnik is a budding superstar. The pass catching corps is elite. The offensive line is a Joe Moore contender. The defensive line has two All Americans. But this is the same team as last year. And returning production, it gives you a high floor, especially early in the season, where I think they'll be really good in the non con. But I think it limits the ceiling later in the year because we kind of know what this team is and its range of outcomes. And my more important question is, did this roster already peak last year? Because they're due for all sorts of negative regression. I mean, for starters, they weren't supposed to be in the ACC championship. They needed Georgia Tech and Syracuse to knock off Miami in the final 3 weeks last year just to sneak in. And then in the ACC championship, they had some really lucky breaks in that first half and then went up big. And then they were outgained by 130 yards in total. SMU came back, storming back in the second half, and Clemson had to hit the walk-off field goal. They probably should have lost that game. They were box score losers in that game. Third, and this is the big part for me, they led the nation with a plus 17 turnover differential last year. If
Woo!
that regresses, if that turnover rate drops significantly, this team could be significantly worse over the course of the year. At the maximum, I think they're super overvalued by everyone. At the minimum, sorry. At the maximum, I think they could drop off the map, lose the ACC, and then the ACC is only like a one bid league anyways, and they miss out. The schedule is pretty easy, but the two spots I'm looking at where I think they could drop is at Louisville and at South Carolina late in the year, where we already
Yep.
know the team and like those two teams like Miller Moss and the South Carolina quarterback again. I'm blanking. Lenora Sellers.
Sellers.
Yeah,
Yep.
just outplay them late in the year. So
Yeah.
that's my first hot take.
I like that take. I think Clemson is one of those teams where like I don't know. It almost feels like it's just Dabo respect at this point. Like no matter what the questions are, they're gonna be picked to win the ACC, and Klubnik is deserving of it to an extent. I think. I think part of the issue for me with Klubnik love is just in a normal year. I don't know that I'd be wanting to talk myself into him bleeding a playoff contender, but this year, you look at all the other teams in the top 15 or so, most of them are breaking in brand new quarterbacks. So
Yeah,
guys like Drew Aller
yeah.
and Klubnik suddenly become super valuable just because they've
Garrett
been around.
Nussmeier. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
Mhm.
crazy, but I like the take though. I agree with you totally on the Louisville and South Carolina games late in the season. It feels like they would need to drop one before that just to. I mean, they got LSU in week one, but I don't know. It's even like at North Carolina, Bill Belichick. Who knows what the Tar Heels will be? There's some trappy spots on the schedule. I approve of that hot take. I'm interested in fading Clemson a little bit this year. I'm gonna go a different route for my first hot take, and it's something I just spoke to a little bit. The quarterback situations for a lot of these. I believe a non-quarterback will win the Heisman Trophy this year.
I like that a lot.
I'm not buying any of the big quarterbacks in the country this year. Arch is the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy, and I think Arch is fine, but let's see it before we get there. Nuss and Klubnik are next, and again, like I think they're perfectly fine quarterbacks, but they're not like best player in the entire sport level players to me. So you would need LSU or Clemson to be like undefeated and awesome for those guys to win it, and I don't think that's in the cards for either, especially when they play in week one. To me, the best players in the sport, like without question this year, are Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams. And I do think you've got to ask who's throwing them the football because I don't know how good Sayan's going to be in Simpson at Bama. But to me, there's almost going to be a counter narrative if Ohio State or Alabama are winning games that receiver is so transcendent, he's dragging an average quarterback to a great season. Like if Ohio State just goes 11 and 1 and Jeremiah Smith outperforms his ludicrous numbers last season, the narrative is not going to be that Julian Sayan's incredible. The narrative is going to be that Jeremiah Smith is like a transcendent receiver. So I value wise, just odds wise, not that this is a betting show, but 11 to 1 for Jeremiah Smith feels pretty great in value to me. Ryan Williams 35 to 1. I'm circling both of those and I'm hoping that maybe at the end of the line they are better than all of these
You can
quarterback
take it one
families.
step further and go really crazy and say Caleb Downs.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ohio State defender.
it's possible. It's absolutely possible. I
Mhm.
do, just for the sake of the take, I wish there were more running backs that felt realistic. Like Jeremiah
Singleton.
Love. Yeah, they got the problem is Katron's good and they do the two
Yeah.
back system, but
Mhm.
I don't know. Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame with they're breaking in Lloyd Carr's grandson as their starting quarterback. Who knows? Maybe they run the ball, but yeah, get lock that in as my first take. Non-quarterback. I'm fading all the quarterbacks this year. How many takes do you have here, Tanner? Are you
Just two.
just two? Okay,
So
what's
this
your
is my
second?
this is my second and final, and I am wearing my University of Michigan Tom Brady jersey right now. Michigan wins the Big Ten.
Whoa!
Yeah. I don't know how good Bryce Underwood is going to be in his freshman year, but the quarterback play literally cannot get worse than last year, and Big Blue still knocked off Ohio State and Alabama down the stretch. Other positives, a young team that could peak later in the season. They return a few elite linebackers. The defensive line lost a ton, especially on the interior. And the secondary is a question mark with no clear shutdown corner. But I think the overall depth across the defense is okay. I think the offensive line will be solid. They're all really experienced and veteran guys. And the power run game should remain on par, especially with Justice Haynes coming over from Alabama. And special teams are always good at Michigan. But the most important reason for this take, the schedule is Charmin soft. This schedule is dog shit.
It
Um,
is.
Aside from Ohio State, all 8 Big Ten opponents had a losing record last year. Their final 3 road games are Michigan State, Northwestern, and Maryland, and they have Purdue mixed in there late. Those are your 4 teams you're facing before Ohio State at home. And so they should be fully rested. The only tricky games here are at Nebraska, at USC, home against Washington. They avoid Oregon and Penn State. And like I said, they get Ohio State at home. For what it's worth, the Action Network projects them as favorites in every Big Ten game except for Ohio State, including
Whew.
double-digit favorites 4 times, favorites of at least a touchdown 2 other times, better quarterback play, deeper defense and a stupid easy schedule, I think they have at least a shot to play in the Big Ten championship. Do they lose to Penn State? Probably, but who knows? Anything can happen when you get there.
Yeah, the thing with Michigan, any preseason bets with Michigan too, to me, it's kind of like one of those ones, the lines are low enough that as long as they have a pulse, you're going to get to the final stretch. Like you're going to get to the Ohio State game with it on the line. And how can you not at least get excited about that, given how the last four games in that rivalry have gone? And
Mm.
look,
I dabbled in some 11-1.
yeah,
Yeah,
to me, I don't hate the take at all. I'm not a huge Sharon Moore believer, but you have to give him credit for the way they not only beat Ohio State but bounced back with the Bama win too. I mean,
yep.
the Bama win was arguably more impressive to me than how they beat Ohio State, and I don't feel like there was anything fluky about that, as Alabama still started Jalen Milroe and was trying to
Yep.
put him on tape. So. Yeah, I think you've got to believe in Bryce Underwood, I think, in order to feel good about it. I'm assuming you do believe in Bryce Underwood. What are your expectations for him individually?
I don't know. I think this could be like a Raiola situation where everyone hypes him up and then he kind of underperforms. But the fact of the matter is, he's going to be better than whatever quarterback was on the field for Michigan last year. They had like
So
one
true.
good game of quarterback play, and I don't really care because like they're playing awful teams for the entire season. Like I mean, they could easily trip up against like I don't know USC or something. I'm high on USC, Wisconsin. I think they play Wisconsin, but they're going to be favorites on all those games.
Yeah, I can 100% see it. I really can. All right, I will give you my final hot take then here. I was trying to think of like the best way to specify this because it feels a little broad, I'll be honest, but this is what I'm going with. I think we see a first time in our lives national champion.
Ooh,
I think we see a team that is not one of the big powers, like no Ohio State, no Texas, no Clemson, no Bama, no Georgia, no Notre Dame, even no LSU. I think it's someone kind of out there. And I guess I don't know the last championship Penn State won. I would like to get them in my bucket that counts, but
that counts.
even if you took Penn State out of it for me, like in Oregon and then on down to some completely random teams. Like it could I don't know if Michigan has the season you just mentioned, could they shock everyone? And Bryce is pretty transcendent. Could Tennessee
But Michigan won like 2 years ago.
Oh shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, asterisk. No comment. But yeah, I think that to me the take is less so like there's some teams I believe in here and more this. I think the top of the sport is more wide open than it's been since I've been alive. I don't think Alabama and Georgia are the levels that we've come to know them in the last 2 decades. I think even Ohio State, to me, as much as I like Jeremiah Smith, I think there are questions with all that they lost defensively on the star side. And then at quarterback, like Sayan is probably the least proven Ohio State quarterback that I've seen in as long as I can possibly remember. Even if he's good, there's going to be some inconsistencies from him, I think. And you can make that argument for pretty much every team that's supposed to be top 10 in the sport. They're breaking in brand new quarterbacks. So if you give me Penn State in the group that would count as like a new national champion, that's my take. A team that nobody sees coming, that hasn't won it recently, wins it all.
Well, I'm thinking outside of Penn State, you got Oregon, I guess Oklahoma,
Oklahoma would count.
Tennessee, Louisville, I guess. Does Notre Dame count? Notre Dame would count, I think.
I guess Notre Dame would count, but I'm not even claiming them as one of my belief teams.
It's a tough, I mean, it's a hot take for a reason. It's just a tough group of teams to see getting over the hump.
Yeah. Yep. It's a weird year. I think there's going to be, I don't want to call it parity, but I think there's going to be chaos this year.
Well, I do agree that the top of the sport is more vulnerable than it's been in a long time.
Yeah. And then
But
even you watched that first game, Iowa State, Kansas State, like two top 17 to 22 teams. And I thought
they
that
both
was
look like shit.
incredibly sloppy. So
Well, they also were playing in the rain in Dublin.
this is
So
true
there's that too.
with family members brawling outside.
Mhm.
All right, that's our hot takes, folks. Let us know how we did in the comments. But college football is here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have a lot of coverage of it as the season rolls along. For topic two today, a very interesting prompt comes from one of my favorite Twitter accounts on earth. It's Jordan Stocks at Stock Talks 21. I commented to him, I responded and said, "This is the Jordan Stocks segment of the week," which may need to become a thing. But he tweeted over the weekend, quote, "If every men's college basketball program was allotted the same amount of NIL money, which programs would be the best? Essentially, what programs would still succeed at the highest level without emptying their pockets? If the playing field was completely evened, what programs would be the most successful?" You did some preparation on this. You've come with some answers for this. So I have no idea where this is going to go, but I'm excited to hear it. What's your answer to this proposition?
Well, to me, this is an organizational question. Which programs are the most well run from like the top down? And I kind of thought about this in three tiers. First, I thought about the Power Five level teams, right? The high majors. And I actually don't know how much would change among the elite of the sport because they all already spend boatloads of money on, players and coaches alike. Sometimes that can gloss over organizational deficiencies. But the first few that come to mind, Michigan State, if Tom Izzo was forced to spend money. Wisconsin, I feel like Greg Gard and Bo Ryan, they always piece together these like overachieving teams. I also think Clemson is a sneaky pick because Brad Brownell has won 20 plus games in three straight seasons with an Elite Eight run, went to the Sweet 16 in 2018 behind a 25 win season. Yet I think most of the school is focused on their football team. Like Clemson's always that, they're always undervalued. And they always seem to overachieve with their roster. So those are my three Power Five picks.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, if you have these tiered up, I can like give some thoughts at the end as you reveal them. I love all of those, honestly. I see the angle, and it's interesting because when thinking of high major teams, you went a completely different route than what I would, and I'll do my big reveal after you get through all of yours. But I think you're right. Like the way you said Tom Izzo, if he was forced to spend money, imagine how good they would be. It's so true. Him and Guard are just you could give them like a couple guys from the rec league, and I am
Mhm.
confident they're going to make the
Yeah,
NCAA tournament. So
exactly. And
yeah.
it's a well-run organization, and part of that is because of the coaches.
Yep. I like the way you viewed it. No notes. All right. What's your next one?
Mid-major level, and I think that this level would benefit the most from this hypothetical question. The first is, all right, three teams here. The first is St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Randy Bennett takes Lithuanians, Australians, and Diamond in the Rough Stars every season, and he's won 25 games in 4 straight years. Made
Yep.
four straight tournaments. He's made the second round three times during that stretch. He's had a top 15 Ken Palm defense for 4 straight years. And he's beaten the shit out of Mark Few and Gonzaga. Like, imagine what he could do with Gonzaga's resources. I think I saw a number that Gonzaga spent like $12 million on basketball last year, while Mary spent like $6 million.
Yeah.
I think Mary's would be elite if they had more money. San Diego State is my second one.
Also
Um,
good.
yeah, this is about Brian Dutcher and Steve Fisher and the culture that the Aztecs have built. A great stadium there, by the way. I adore Viejas. They're always tough, always elite defensively because they always recruit like physical, high IQ defenders that destroy opposing offenses in the hedge and switch scheme. Usually, they're just short of floor spacers and shooters. If they could go buy a guard like Matt Bradley every year, they could be a blue blood. Um, Third is Drake. Drake
Ooh.
nailed the DeVries hire. They nailed the Ben McCollum hire, and I think they nailed the Eric Henderson hire for this year. I mean, that guy built some insane offenses at South Dakota State. They were top 20 nationally in effective field goal percentage in 4 of his 6 years there. Drake has made really savvy, under the radar decisions over the past decade that have turned them from a 2-16 MVC team in 2016 into a perennial Valley contender. And I think that they would benefit a lot from a lot of extra resources.
Yeah. I love St. Mary's San Diego State. Completely agree. Drake, the angle of that is so creative. Like, just you trust the administration that keeps making these knockout hires.
Well, instead of like going and hiring, like Power Five retreads, they went out and they got a D2 coach
Yeah.
from one of the best D2 programs who runs an amazing offense. Like that is how you should go That's how you should rebuild your program if you lose your coach and all your players, right?
Yeah.
Then they go and they get Henderson, who runs great offenses and recruited pretty well in the portal, I thought. I
Yeah.
think they make smart decisions from an organizational level. And that's why they're, constantly one of the top three teams in the Valley
Yeah.
over the last
No,
5 years.
I love it. All right. I'm pretty in on your entire list right now. You've got one more tier, I believe.
Yeah, this is like my low major winners. Teams that consistently win their conference and just simply dominate their quote unquote peers in their league, right? So you could say they're more well run than teams that are on their even playing field. Yale, James Jones rocks. Yale has made the tournament in 3 of the past 4 years. My Vermont Catamounts before last season, they had won 7 straight regular season titles in the America East. They should win another one this year. John Becker is one of the most underrated coaches in the country. Colgate, Matt Langle always builds great offenses. He had won 6 straight regular season titles before last year, and they have been to 5 of the past 7 tournaments. And Toledo, before Akron beat them out last year, they had won 6 of the past 7 regular season titles. Consistently underperformed in the chaos realm that is the MAC tournament. But Todd tends to bring together the most talented rosters in the MAC year in, year out, I would say. So, yeah, those are my low major thoughts.
All awesome answers. I will even allow the homerism that is the Vermont pick to survive here.
They
That's
dominate
a
the America East every year.
This is
They're
very
kings.
true. This is very true. No, I don't really have any pushback on any of these. I think these are all good answers. So the way my brain worked with this prompt was just completely different, but that's why it's fun to have two people on the show to think through it. So I I probably would have had Michigan State, maybe
Mhm.
Wisconsin. I think definitely St. Mary's and San Diego State on here. And, I just think in terms of high major more than mid major too. So that's probably part of why my brain works the way it does. But the first thing I thought of when I saw this prompt was this: what programs have a brand that speaks for itself so much that it would still attract the talent that it gets without money being a factor? And to me, that is blue bloody with some of those. Like Duke is always going to be Duke. I
North
obviously,
Carolina.
yeah, to an extent, those are still going to be thriving no matter who's there. But
Would you
I
put
think
Villanova in that bucket?
it's been hard with Neptune's era coming,
Yeah.
but I would have
Hmm.
said it before that.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's just one of those things where like it's almost different buckets, right? Because the way you laid out the case for like a Drake and a Yale is a totally different bucket than like how good will Duke be if money wasn't in a
Well,
conversation.
that's why I
You know what I
laid it
mean?
out that way.
So,
I was looking for teams that consistently overachieve compared to their level.
yeah,
That's
makes
how I
sense.
looked at it.
Would you kind of maybe you revealed this in the comment section, but no consideration to putting Purdue here? Because I think they would qualify.
No comment.
No comment.
I have my teams. I have my teams.
You have your teams. You're
I'd
locked
have to
in.
think about it.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna rock with Tanner's list on this one. Michigan State, Wisconsin, Clemson, St. Mary's, San Diego State, Drake, Yale, Vermont, Colgate, and Toledo are our answers to Jordan Stocks' tweet. Topic 3 today, as you can tell, Tanner McGrath, mid-major expert. Are you comfortable with us dubbing you the Sleepers mid-major expert, Tanner?
I would prefer mid-major advocate or mid-major representative
Okay.
as a mid-major fan on the
Okay.
channel. I'm the
Spokesperson.
main. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I will always tell people that mid-major ball is the single best form of basketball, the
Yeah.
single purest form of ball.
I
Is
wholeheartedly
mid-major
endorse
hoops.
that message. I completely endorse that message. And yeah, Riley Davis is our ACC correspondent. So I just feel like we have representation at the mid major level with Tanner McGrath involved. Anyways, that's why topic 3 today, I want to work together and come up with our preseason mid major All American team. So this is not necessarily guys that we are actually advocating will make an All American team at the end of the year, but if there was an all mid-major first team, point guard, shooting guard, forward, center, however you want to do it positionally, who would be the 5 names on it? I've got some honorable mentions or some nominees, I guess, probably like 7 on my list that I want to shout, but my guess is all 7 of mine will probably come up in some of your nominations. So, how do you want to do this? You want to go positionally through it?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go positionally. Let's start at the guard because I think
Okay.
I think we agree on guard one.
Who is it?
Mikey Lewis, St. Mary's.
Yep.
Yep.
I think he'd be my preseason mid-major player of the year.
I think that's fair. He's the next in line of like the elite Randy Bennett guards. Also
Yep.
an excellent point of attack defender. Super important in that drop coverage scheme. Unreal perimeter sniper and mid-range shooter. Solid ball screen passer, which is good. Mary's likes to run a lot of ball screen, but like inside out stuff. So he likes to get paint touches and out. He just needs to get better at finishing at the rim. But like he's going to take a jump from he was the sixth man of the year in the West Coast last year as a freshman to now the lead guard in his sophomore season under Coach Bennett. And his usage rate off the bench was nuts. And so he should just improve. He's a budding superstar.
He had some loud moments, like when he had a great game, it usually came in a flurry, and it was just like, whoa, where's this
Nebraska.
guy?
He put up like 25 on 5 from 7 from deep or something. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Comes off the bench and
sensational.
just boom, boom.
How surprised are you that he's back at St. Mary's? Because I'll be honest, I thought for sure he was going to be a big portal priority for bigger programs.
Not crazy surprised. He was a bench player, and like I think you know what I think he knew that he was 1 year away,
Yeah.
right? I think Bennett was like, "You're my guy next year." Like you see what Mahaney and um what Paul Paulius was that his name?
Yeah,
The guard,
Morauskas.
yeah,
Yeah.
Maraskis. Thank you. Sorry, I blanked for a
Yep.
second. See what they did. You're going to be that guy next year.
Yep. Yeah. I like it. All right. It's a pretty awesome role. Let's go to our second guard spot. This is more wide open, I think. There's a lot of names you could argue.
This is crazy wide open, and I went really bold.
Okay.
Guard Austin Benigni from Navy.
I don't even know who that is.
He averaged 20 points per game last year for Navy in the Patriot League, drug them in every single game. Most people loathe him because he's a free throw merchant. He had 22 free throws in a game against Bucknell late last season. He's also not a very efficient scorer. Fine 3-point shooter, low volume. He wasn't awful attacking the rim off the bounce. But he's just gonna put up crazy counting stats this year. I mean, he averaged 21 and 5 over his final 5 games behind just stupid high usage, free throw, and assist rates. I think he led the nation in free throw rate last year, something like 55%. He got to the line at least 10 times in 10 games last year and shot 87% from the line. He's going to post insane counting stats after returning from he went to the portal and he came back. I could see like 24 and 7 this year for him. He's 5'10", this little guy. He's kind of shifty. He's got great vision passing, and he just bully balls points all the time because he just draws fouls like crazy. So I think he's going to put up like 25 points a game.
Yeah, the numbers are actually absolutely stupid. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about this guy. Truly, I've not watched him before, but just from a quick Google search, it's like game logs: 34 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 17 for 17 from the free throw line.
Like at the minimum, he's just fun to watch rack up points and assists. I bet
Yeah.
I can't find this stat anywhere, but I bet if there was like a points accounted for stat, he will be top 5 this season.
Yep. Okay. I like that shout. Do you have any other nominees that you would put in that range, or do you want to just lock him in? I have two that honestly, one has to be at this spot if we're going to do it, and one could be a wing. So I
You
don't
go
know.
ahead and I'll see if I have it on my list.
All right. So my first one is a guy that I think could play the wing here, and it is Ethan Roberts at Penn. Ethan
Yeah, he
Roberts.
was on my list, but I put him actually behind, and this was another guy that I had kind of as a wing forward type. I put him behind Townsend
Yeah, could
at
be.
Yale. I prefer Townsend to Roberts.
So
Like,
for me, obviously different positionally. Like I think both could potentially be on this type of team. The pitch for me with Roberts would be this. He's Fran McCaffrey's first option.
yeah, I was thinking that too, man.
Yep.
He's gonna put up points because that offense is gonna start sprinting.
And last year
Yeah.
down the stretch, he was awesome. But season numbers 17, 6, and 2 on 43% from the floor. Like there's a world he ends up 26 and 3, and we're like, whoa, what is that? So I don't know. Again, I think you could almost, if we wanted to, we could put Benigni and then Roberts both at the 2-3, unless there's more names coming. To me, the front court spots are like the no doubter names in this group. So we're kind of just picking our preference between it.
Yeah, so for my two guard, I had a million options, and I'm just gonna rack off a few as like honorable mention types.
Sure.
Guard Tyler Tejada, Towson. Guard Miles Bird, San Diego State. Guard Money Williams, Montana. Guard
Money
Mr. Dean,
Williams is good.
Mr. Dean, Charleston. Tony Osborne, Omaha. Cruz Davis, Hofstra. Dylan Andrews, Boise State, down transfer. Vashan Aliet, UTSA, and then Ahmad Robinson from UAB. But I kind of like the Roberts pick at the two. Would you say he's a guard?
It he's listed as a guard. He's 6'5", so it's like a hybrid 2/3 for me. But he's on the ball so much that I think it's fine to put him at the two. So yeah, I don't know. I'm good to lock in Roberts if you want and move on from there.
Yeah, I prefer him to Benigni, even though Benigni, he was my bold take anyways. But I
Yeah.
wanted to get
Okay.
him a shout out because people should watch some Navy games and just see this guy put up points and assists like crazy. And the Navy team's funny because they're all really, really small, and he's 5'10", and he's just like this little guy running around the court scoring a million points and drawing fouls like crazy. It's like Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I'm game. You've sold me. All right, Mikey Lewis and Ethan Roberts is officially our backcourt. Now we're looking for a wing. Who do you like here?
Nick Townsend
Yeah.
out of Yale. Yeah, James Jones knows how to coach up these guys. Danny Wolf, Matt Noling, EJ Jarvis. Townsend's the next guy, and a big part of it, so he averaged 16, 7, and 4 last year on elite efficiency. He also shot 50% from three, low volume though. But he put together a 21% assist rate to a 10% turnover rate. He had 2.3 assist to turnover ratio. His his deft passing skill and his vision is so crucial because Jones schemes around him so well in Yale's ball screen motion by using him as like a key high post hub in dribble handoff actions and pinch post actions, stuff like that. Yale averaged 1.1 points per possession when Townsend hit a cutter, doing that
Yeah.
around 8 times per 100 possessions, 82nd percentile frequency, 75th percentile efficiency. Jones should use him equally as a passing hub, but more as a scoring hub with Mabangon. And I think he should continue spacing the floor well around him. So I could see him scoring more in the post as the paint kind of frees up. I think
Yeah.
he has a massive year.
Yeah, I think you look at the rest of the roster, he has to have a massive year. I mean, there's
Mm.
no other guy that averaged even 9 points a game on this Yale roster, and his numbers were impeccable, as you said.
And
Fun
Yale
player.
will be good again. Yale will win games again because they
Right, they
always do.
always do. Yeah, super fun player. You mentioned Umbang's gone, so is Pulikidis. Like they
Yep.
literally lost the primary scorers. So I think Townsend probably will put up absolutely stupid numbers. I think he's the no-brainer option at the three for us here. All right, Lewis Roberts Townsend is what we have. Two Ivy League guys on the team right now.
Very
Uh,
interesting.
I have some, I think, non-negotiable, or at least at the four for me, it's non-negotiable. I have Magoon Guath at the four.
He was my number two at the four.
Okay, who's one?
Chase Walker, Illinois State.
Okay.
You go first. I understand the argument for both. The argument is offense versus defense, actually.
Yeah,
And
it
what do we value
is.
more?
It
Because
is.
Guath is the best mid-major defender, probably in the nation. But I think Walker is one of the most important offensive players in the nation to his team.
It is. So for me, I just find Guath a complete unicorn almost. And maybe I'm falling for the offseason propaganda machine of like Kentucky now wants Magoon Guath, Michigan now wants Magoon Guath. But to me, like before Michigan signed Marez Johnson and Demara, he was like Dusty's first front court portal target. And I just became completely infatuated with him off film study. I don't think there's another player in America that combines what he has frame wise with what he has instincts wise defensively with some pretty crazy upside offensively. Like he's only going to be a sophomore eligibility wise. I buy the jump shot big time. And last year it felt like he was just an afterthought in the San Diego State offense. And look, they return a lot of good players. Miles Bird is back too, who honestly could have gotten a shout on this team. But to me, he's a pro. I just think they don't make players his size, and guys that do have that upside usually hit it at some point. So for me, it kind of unlike the others, like Mikey Lewis could put up absurd numbers. Roberts and Townsend are great, but they kind of fit the mold of like uber productive mid-major darling guy you're going to want to fall in love with before he works at Deloitte next year. Magoon Guath is a pro. He's an NBA player. I don't know when he gets there, but I'm kind of hoping it happens this year, and that's the pitch.
I would put Guath at the five, or I mean, sorry, at the four.
Okay.
If we can put Robbie Avila at the five.
Okay. I think
because
Robbie
then
Avila is my pick
that's a
at the
good
five.
one offense, one defense. If I put Walker and Avila, which were my 4 and 5, then I'm scoring 1 million points per game, but I'm giving up more.
Yeah, then you're Matt Painter. And we
Yeah,
don't want you to be Matt Painter. Bring it full
yeah, we don't
circle.
want that.
Yeah. So okay, I had Avila at my 5-2. The only reason I was going to even consider someone else is I do think Miles Rubin's going to finally have a breakout year at Loyola this year after they've
Yeah,
lost primary options. But
yeah.
Avila, man, he was expected to be like All American good last year, and it just didn't happen. What's the bounce back pitch for Avila this year?
He still averaged 17, 7, and 4.
Yeah, you're right.
And I mean, look, it was a tough first year in the A10. It took a while for Schertz and Avila to find their footing. They got a little unlucky with shooting variance, especially early in the year. I think with him returning, there's really two things. One, he needs to cut down on his turnovers. Um, if he can cut down on that, that would be huge because he turned it over 3.5 times per game last year, which was um, double his amount than he did at Indiana State. But they still ranked third nationally in 2 point shooting, and that's primarily because of the Avila Shirts hub and spoke offense. It's elite at creating rim and three opportunities through a variety of Avila focused actions.
Yeah.
My hope is that the transfer class help him find his footing again on both ends of the court, given the defense was also gashed last year. Um, I love Quinnipiac transfer Paulotino. A couple good Power 5 ads and Brady Dunlap, Trey Green. NIU transfer Quentin Jones. He averaged 16, 5, and 4 last year. All of those guys shot at least 35% from deep on a combined 12 attempts per game. That's so key to the offense because you can open up spacing for Avila to work. Cut down on the turnover some more, get some more support in the base drop defense. I think he has a pretty massive year two bounce back. Just remember how good he was at Indiana State. Just
Yeah.
remember.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, acting like, oh, it was a down year, 17, 7, and 4 is crazy. Like
Yeah.
I needed to hear those numbers said out loud again. All
Yeah.
right. I feel great about this team. Mikey Lewis, Ethan Roberts, Nick Townsend, Magoon Guath, Robbie Avila.
I had three more honorable mentions in the front court. Rafael Castro, George Washington, Amari Monroe, Quinnipiac, returning without Otino. He's going to have a huge year. And Zach Cleveland at Liberty. So
Ooh, yeah.
that's
I like
yeah,
Cleveland too.
those are my names.
Great names. Great shout. All right. I feel good about our mid-major All-American team. Thank you, Tanner. That was fun. One big thing presented by nobody. Tanner, what's your first ever one big thing?
So I am playing a fantasy football with my wife this year. We have a co-team together. Our name is Clifford the Big Red Zone because our dog's name is Clifford. Um, we had the fourth overall pick, and we decided to go with Puka Nakua over CD Lamb because she loves his name, and I think he's going to be wide receiver 2 this year. And I'm wondering if I'm insane.
I don't think you're
That's my big thing.
insane. I don't think you're insane. I also am anti-Cowboys pretty much every single year
Yeah,
from a
yeah.
fantasy perspective. So
Stafford's going to throw the ball like 1 million times this year, and
yeah,
Nakua's going to get like everything.
pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, pretty much. I endorse that message. All right. Dude, you're just firing on all cylinders. You were so ready for this first episode. You came in hot. You got your one big thing. I absolutely adore it. My one big thing is that I went to the casino in person on Saturday night for the first time in roughly 3.5 years. And still have to say, love going to the casino. I'm a casino guy. I love betting on sports. I love betting on sports from my phone, from anywhere. But like going and getting a physical ticket from the sports
Yeah.
book at the casino, there's nothing like it. Grabbing a drink at the same time. They got like the Vegas spread televisions. I was watching 3 college football games at once. There was baseball on too. It was just a thrill that reminded me that sports are back. And I was
Every time I go to a sports book, I get my dad a physical Patriots Super Bowl ticket, and I bring it back to him every single time. So he has one for each year. And a couple years ago, I got him a Patriots over 10.5 win total. Over 8.5 win total minus 160. It was like $10 to win 650 just for fun. And they cashed it. They won 9 games with Mac Jones, and he mailed it in to the casino in Atlantic City, and they sent him back a check for $16.50. He was like, "I got it back, Tanner. We won."
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Wait,
that was
did you
great.
start the Super Bowl bets early enough that you have a great ROI on this or no?
I started gambling before the Malcolm Butler interception, so I won a
Okay.
few. I
Yeah,
won a
you
few.
got a couple. All
Yeah.
right. Must be hard to be a Patriots football fan, I'm sure. All right. That's the show. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Tanner, for crushing your first episode. We'll be back tomorrow.